When Let the Bad Times Roll came out, I was definitely shocked as to how rushed it felt, even though it took them 9 years to make that album, and putting an old single on it, like Coming For You, that was at the time like 5 or 6 years old. It just felt very cop-out for the Offspring, and when you look back at that album, it was received poorly because it didn't necessarily have that passion that you would think from the Offspring. Like, even some of my least favorite Offspring albums still have that Offspring tone to them, and it makes them enjoyable in some way. So when I heard they were releasing a new album this year, a quick follow-up to their recent record as opposed to almost a decade later, I was intrigued because I wanted to see if they would rebound from the mess of an album that was Let the Bad Times Roll. And now we have Supercharged, and needless to say, the band definitely rebounded big time. It's 10 tracks, 32 minutes, it comes at you super quick, but it has all of the, Offspring type of sound to it that has made me grow to love the band over the years. And sure, maybe the first song, like Looking Out for Number One, reminds me of a song like You're Gonna Go Far, Kid. But at the same point in time, that's kind of Offspring's MO for years, is just kind of following that simple formula while also doing different things in between. There's guitar solos, there's bada bas, there's this, that, and the other, but they all fit in the right places, they don't feel out of place, and you're having fun listening to the music again. I didn't find myself disliking anything from this record. There were a couple of songs I thought were okay, like the song, Okay, But This Is the Last Time, Get Some, and Hanging by a Thread. Again, don't think they're bad. I just feel like when it comes to the other 7 songs on the record, these ones stood out as ones that, were good, but didn't pique my interest as much. Then my favorite tracks, we have Looking Out for Number One, which is the opening track, Light It Up, which was one of the singles that came out before this thing, The Fall Guy, Make It Alright, which was the first single we heard from this thing, and again, with the way it started, I kind of got a lot of Pretty Fly for a White Guy vibes, which again, fun song. And with the Offspring, when you're having fun, they're doing it right. Truth and Fiction, Come to Brazil, and You Can't Get There From Here, which is an excellent album finisher that kind of is more atmospheric than what you would expect from an Offspring song, but it's nice. You get a lot of good riffs on this thing, a lot of good vocal moments. It's just, it feels like the band went back to the late 90s, early 2000s with their sound, and just made an album that you can get down to, that you can vibe to, rather than trying to not necessarily go out of their comfort zone like they did with Let the Bad Times Roll, but make something that felt like they were just shitting it out to shit it out, whereas this thing felt like, even though it took less time in between from one record to the next, it felt less rushed. It felt like they actually had something to go off of, ideas, and it all felt not forced and very, very cohesive. Overall, I'm glad to see that this late in the Offspring's career, 30 plus years now, that they're still able to go out and make some pretty kick-ass albums, kick-ass songs that you can still vibe to and still have fun to, and even at times they can still be a little silly. It's almost like Blink-182, how, yeah, they've matured and they sing mature songs, but then they'll also throw some silly little song at you because that's just who they are. It's basically who the Offspring have been for years, and it's glad to see that they haven't changed that and are still the same goofy goofballs that they have been for, as I mentioned, over 3 decades at this point. But I give this album a 7.5 out of 10. It is definitely one of my favorites of the year, and a definite upgrade from the last record that this band put out. So with that being said, that's what I think. You can tell me in the comments below what did you think of this album, but until then, stay safe out there, and I will catch you all in the next one.